we have the current stock market update for GameStop Corporation, stock ticker GME. Before we begin with today's chart analysis, if you find these educational materials to be helpful in your trading, please remember to click the like and subscribe buttons and leave your thoughts in the comments section below so that other traders will be able to find this information more easily on the platform. So as we can see here, we have the hourly price chart. At the moment, I don't really see much else to be viewing in terms of charting timeframes. I think that the picture becomes much cloudier if we start to pull back too much on this price chart. So in this video, we're going to be looking at some very important price levels that traders should be watching and give sort of a strategy outlook update for this important week that we have ahead of us for GameStop. So as we know, the company will be reporting earnings this week, and this does bring some significance into some of these near-term price zones that we've been watching for this stock. So if we just sort of zoom in here a bit, one price zone that we should point out here is a price zone that I have pointed out previously, which comes in right near 2166. This level was quite important in terms of acting as a bit of a short-term launching pad for the stock. We did see share prices move right into this area, and this was a fairly predictable price movement given the fact that we're now seeing Fibonacci levels being tested. So essentially what occurred here was we saw a price trend wave in the positive direction, bullish trend wave from roughly 1988, extending toward these near-term highs coming in at 2469. At that point, we did start to see some resistance develop for this stock, and we saw prices start to head lower. At this point, we did some Fibonacci analysis to try to identify price zones where this stock might start to find some support. This outlook was starting to look a bit weak given the fact that share prices had fallen below the entire exponential moving average cluster. And this is the hourly price chart, so this is an important time frame. Each candlestick on this price chart represents a 1-hour trading period. So these are now hourly moving averages, which are closely watched by the market. But even still, we were able to find support right at the 61.8% fib level, which comes in right around 2170. So the ultimate price low that we did see here fell a few cents below there, 2166. But as we can see here, this ultimate trend wave higher, shorter term trend wave higher, really did catch the bottom at those levels. So this will be a critically important zone here going forward. If we fail to break above 2469, any retest here of this 2166 level will be critically important in terms of allowing this price structure to remain intact. I should say this bullish price structure to remain intact. So, where things currently stand, we have broken back above the entire exponential moving average cluster. So this is all 4 exponential moving averages. We should point out the fact that there was a lot of constriction in these moving averages recently. So breaking above all 4 is not as incredible a feat as it would be if we were starting to see share prices widen out a bit more. Like, for example, like we were seeing back here, this would be roughly August 29th or so. So here we can see that the exponential moving averages themselves are much broader, wider apart. And then here they're much more constricted. So when you see share prices move above them in that sort of scenario, it's a bit less impressive, but it still did occur. So we're still looking at this as a positive development. As things currently stand, we did close the week trading just below the $24 mark, closing right around $23.90. So we didn't actually see a retest of this prior $24.69 high. And the price movements that were being seen in the positive direction really were short term in nature. So I do want to emphasize that as well, because as we can see here, most of this price movement is occurring in one candle. And as I explained, this is the hourly price chart. So one candle equals 1 hour of trading. So we can see here the share prices. Let's get some exact numbers. We can see that share prices were trading just above $22 per share, and then extended all the way to. This is above, let's call this right around 24.50. So, we're talking about $2.50 roughly in share price movement. That's roughly a 10% gain in 1 hour. So, this is a very short period of time, and you can view that as a positive if you want. I personally would not. I would like to see gains kind of spread out a bit more. Things start to look less erratic and more sustainable if that occurs. Most of this price movement to the top side did occur in a very short period of time. So yeah, I suppose if you're believing that prices are just going to simply explode, I guess you could point to this as an example. But for me personally, that's not what I would want to see if I was long the stock. One other positive point here, though, is the fact that we are seeing rising trading volumes at the same time. So there is some positive activity here that is also being confirmed in the trading volumes. So if we pull out to the indicator reading here, one other thing that we can say is positive would be this upward trend in share price momentum. After share prices moved into oversold territory at this 1988 print, we did start to see some positive trend waves here that did develop in these ultimate price highs. Share prices did become overbought at that point. We do need to remember that 2469 was an overbought reading here in the relative strength index, and since then we have started to see a trend wave that is developing in the positive direction. One area of caution, one point of caution that I would make here would be the fact that this type of slope in the relative strength index is generally not viewed as something that would be sustainable. This is a very extreme slope in this trend line. So, personally, I would prefer to see something, more like this as far as being a sustainable trend movement higher. When you start to see, slopes in the relative strength index that are this extreme, it's much more difficult for share prices to maintain that type of momentum. So I'm not saying that it can't maintain that type of momentum. I'm just saying it's much less likely that the share price action itself will be able to keep this trend moving higher. So at the moment that does seem a bit unlikely to me. One thing that we do need to point out here is that earnings are going to be coming up for this company. Very important week is ahead for this company, and since we're starting to already see some share price movement to the top side, there is really a lot riding on this next earnings report. I think it's highly questionable that we will see a positive result from GameStop in this most recent quarterly release. And we have to remember also what is going on in the broader market here. I suggest that people take a look at my videos on NVIDIA and Broadcom. The reason that I point to them specifically, I understand these are very different businesses, but the reason that I point to these two companies specifically is because they both released positive earnings recently. These are very strong quarterly reports from both companies. And what happened to both of those companies? Major sell-offs, in some senses, almost catastrophic type sell-offs. I mean, we're talking about significant price gaps in these charts, even though both of these companies reported strong earnings for the quarter. So my question at this point for anybody that's on GameStop, what exactly do you expect to happen, even in the event that share prices, are influenced by a positive earnings report? Will the same type of trend occur? Will we see similar sell-offs occur in GameStop? And then also, what happens in the reverse scenario? If we see a negative earnings report, what happens to share prices at that point? I mean, just take a look at the recent trends that have been seen in the broader market, and then try to apply that to this current situation, because we could be in store for some major movements here relatively soon. So here is the current market update for GameStop Corporation, stock ticker GME. Our high value trading strategies membership is currently available for a limited time for only $9.99 per month. These high conviction investment strategies are characterized by superior risk to reward metrics that target massive market beating returns over time. Join now to outperform the market. Lock in this special introductory rate of just $9.99 per month for the entire lifetime of your membership and start trading stocks with the pros.